me, we want to see you fight Lomachenko. We want to see you fight Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez. All the top who they say is the 4 horsemen, and they anywhere around your weight class. We want to see it happen. When we gonna see it happen?
I'm not sure. I ain't got
That's
nothing to do with it. That was real shit.
That's some real shit.
I don't know. That's like,
how many times you don't went in there and said, I want these, man?
to be honest, I ain't never said.
Yeah,
I don't even. Once they call me and be like, you might be fight, or after the fight, like after I won, they call me and let me know like you might be going back this time. All right, boom. So they called me around that time and like with a name.
Yeah.
But this time it's already situated.
Yeah, Rolly.
Yeah, cause
You gonna ice him though.
What's good, family? So smash the like button, subscribe, and lick off the bell. Damn, it's super duper bad for your mans, for the goober, Gervonta Goober Davis, Gervonta Tuck Davis. Wow. And it's funny because when the news came out that Tank was allegedly exposing Floyd Mayweather for being some sort of jealous female, which we know Floyd to be anyway, but when that news came out, at least half of my video I made sure to say, listen, whatever Floyd's done in the past to hinder Gervonta Tuck Davis, I'm assigning at least half of the responsibility, if not more, to Tank. Going forward, I don't want to hear no more excuses, Tank. Since you've exposed Floyd now, either move, or not either, move and get the big fights. Oops, simple as that. And the reason I did that was because, I mean, it's not rocket science, but I had a feeling that the words you've just heard there from Tuck Davis was the case. And what them words were was essentially, he ain't really been looking for no smoke like that. Yeah, Floyd can be all the jealous female he wants to be. But if you was out here telling Al, I want these big fights. In fact, scrap that. If Tuck Davis had been out here even publicly saying, I want these big fights, that'd have been happened. And I actually felt embarrassed because, you know what, this whole Gilly and Wallow, the podcast that Tuck Davis was on when he slipped up and made these comments admitting he had never asked for no big fight and he loved to fight bums. It's funny because they was basically, Gilly or whoever was talking, I think it was Gilly, was trying to gas him up. Oh man, you know, Gervonta, tell us how many times you wanted to fight the big dudes, and oops. Tuck is so low IQ, he bumbled, and you could tell he felt super silly. He comes out saying, oh man, well, I gotta be honest, I've never asked, but, you know, and he started bumbling on, talking about, you know, Rolly Romero, and, goofy sounding ass, yeah? Exposed himself. Rolly a bum, and Gilly even said he a bum, you can knock him out. But in fact, you know what, before I carry on roasting these cats, I want to take the quotes from the jump. So from the jump, Gilly says, Tank, we want to see you fight Loma, all them and Devin Haney, and whoever else. When are we going to see them fights? At which point Tank replies, I'm not sure. And this is where for me, all this fake weird hood energy stuff comes in. I never understood it, but Gilly's just asked Tank, when are we going to see you fight the big fights? Tank replies saying, I'm not sure. Now, a normal response would be, what do you mean you're not sure? When are you going to start campaigning for these fights? When are you going to start getting yourself into mandatory positions to force the fights, if you allege they're ducking? And or, when are you going to start calling for the fights or sending contracts? That's what Gilly should have said. Instead, this whole fake, weird, funny style hood energy comes in. And Gilly starts saying, oh man, that's some real shit. Oh man, what do you mean that's some real shit? He's just told you he ain't sure. And the worst thing is, listen, yeah, Tank Davis isn't 18 years old, where you can be unsure. This Don is damn near 30-year-old. This ain't no time. Tank's had Me and many other people have given Tank way too much time to not be sure. He's had that time now. That time's been up. I remember back in 2017, Floyd Mayweather saying back then about Lomachenko, we're not sure. He's old. We're on our own path. And even then it was suspect, because to be honest, back then, I would have taken Tank. And yeah, fair enough, maybe that on that exact day in 2017, they didn't know. But you best believe 2018, 2019 should have been happened. Not 2022, and you're still saying you don't know, and you're still saying you've never even asked for the fights. Goofy sounding goober. And then you got Gilly gassing him up. Oh man, that's some real shit. Oh, you just told us you haven't got a clue what you're doing, and you're 30 years old, and what's that about? What's cool about that? What's real about that? Cut this, I'm telling you now, all you fake ass hood dudes, cut all this weird hood energy. It's dead. Oh man, everything someone says, yeah, even if it makes no sense, like this didn't. Oh man, that's some real shit. You a real one. You a real Nick. Oh man, yeah. What's I don't get it. I never got that. Don't be gassing. There was nothing real about what he said there. There just wasn't. Oh man, damn, that's some real. It's like hyperbolic. People just gassing for the sake of gassing. Gassing someone up. Oh man, you real. Oh wow, Tank Davis, he a real Nick. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Cut it out. There was nothing real about what he said. In fact, it was the opposite of real. It was scary, as has been his career. Anyway, he goes on. So after Tank this set, or after Gilly has finished sucking Tank off about how real his I'm not sure answer was, Gilly then says, how many times, so since you're not sure now when the fights will happen, how many times have you gone in there with Floyd and put it on him and requested you want these big fights? Tank replies, oh, well, I gotta be honest, I ain't never said, but Rolly Romero. And that whole segment took about a minute. Tank was bumbling on. Oh, bumbling, because obviously he realised he'd slipped up. He realised this whole narrative of Floyd being a jealous female had just been shot in the head. And listen, Tank's not known for being the sharpest, and this really shows that. Because for years, Floyd fought a bunch of old people and whatever else, and he never once slipped up. He always carried the mirage of, oh, I want to fight the best, and I love fighting the best, and I fight the best ever. Yeah, Tank just let slip that he loved fighting bums. Listen, Tank is in love. Tank needs to go to counselling because he has an addiction to fighting bums. He love it. He in love with. Listen, if you've got a bummy 126 pounder, Tank will drag him up to 135. That's what he will do. He love it. And it's a real shame, but I'm glad that Tank is a bumbling goober, because if he wasn't, he'd be telling lies. Yeah, but I'm telling you now, I'm been finished with Tank now. I'm done finished with him. Don't let me see no more bum fights after this Rolly Romero one. Do I think Tank will change? No. I'm not even sure he's going to leave Floyd. He knows where his bread's buttered. He's thinking, oh man, because the thing is about Eddie Hearn loves coin. To Eddie Hearn's credit, he don't put on a whole load of bum fights. Not at someone in Tank's position, if you get what I'm saying. Give me an example of Eddie Hearn having a fighter at world championship level and just having him compete versus bums every time. He don't do it. He wants that coin bringing in. He's gonna put you in there with the best around. And I tell you what, he certainly ain't gonna be putting in. I mean, there's no way Eddie Hearn would have someone like Tank fighting Rolly Romero now. It just don't exist. And to be honest with you, even Al Heyman, to be quite frank, even PBC, they put on, sometimes they miss the best fights, like Crawford versus Spence, but in-house, they do the best they've got. For example, you didn't have Errol Spence fighting someone like, I don't know, pick some random ass name. Errol Spence versus Gabe Rosado. That's the kind of fight Floyd Mayweather will put on. or Tank versus Rolly Romero. But PBC for the main, they put on the best ish fights they'll put on. Not no Rolly Romero. So Tank really, I just don't see how he can. I don't see how he can afford to leave. Tank likes taking no risk and having high reward. Tank's only real half decent fight was Pitbull Cruz, and that was an accident. They didn't realise how live Pitbull was. That was a massive mistake and almost could have been a big banana skin. Anyway, let's see where we go from here, but this was a bad look, it really was. And it begs the question, what do you mean you haven't? After all these years, and why don't you want it competitively? We hear all this woofing about, and that's why I've never been into this whole weird, funny style hood culture about, oh man, he from Baltimore, he from B-more, he a real one. And if you're really from Baltimore, if you really want to represent your city, why do you keep bringing bum pay-per-view shows back there? Why aren't you trying to show your city? You know what I mean? Why isn't Tank trying to put his city on the map properly? I.e., you know what? Let me bring in undisputed champion Lomachenko and push, you know what I mean, and wash his wig for him in front of Baltimore. Let's put this undisputed championship on the line. Because to be honest with you, there is no way the undisputed championship of the world should be between Kambosos and Haney. Let's be real now, people. If 5 years ago I told you that the 135 undisputed championship would be between Kambosos and Haney, you'd have called me a liar and you'd have laughed at me. As would I. But yet that's where we are, because the only two people who have wanted to get it has been them, man. Tank's been, I don't know what he's been doing. He just has no ambition to be great. Honestly, I've never seen anything like it. He's arguably one of the most naturally talented guys in terms of raw power and whatever else. We haven't seen someone at 135 have power like that in God knows when. And what does he do with it? Oh, he keeps fighting domestic gym fighters like Rolly and or 126-pound midgets blown up. It's super bad. It really is. It's a travesty. But to be honest with you, now the cat's out the bag on both sides. We now know Floyd's a fraud, or we knew Floyd was a fraud when it comes to Tank, but we also know now, most importantly, there's no doubt about it, Tank is also a fraud. And I'm going to make a forecast now, prediction. If in the next 12 months, Tank doesn't do something significant, i.e. make a big fight, I'm going to tell you, it will never happen. Because now all this information's come out, Tank's either going to have to make the move now, in his next fight, or sorry, Tank's either going to have to make a move in the fight after Rolly, or he won't do it at all. Do you understand? If it turns out after the Rolly fight in June, that Tank goes on to fight someone else who's a bum, then forget about it. Tank's career's done. He will forevermore just keep fighting bums. And or wait until, for example, don't get me wrong, I can see Tank fighting Lomachenko. Let's say, for example, Lomachenko is 42 years old and has a belt. Yeah? If Lomachenko's 42 years old in 2029, for example, yeah? If in 2029, Lomachenko, or in 2025 or whatever, 2026, Lomachenko has a belt and he's 42 years old, I believe Tank will fight him then. No doubt. 10 years too late. No word of a lie. Yeah? 10 years too late. 10 years after the fight was first talked about, I'm under no illusions Tank will beat him. And then Tank will say, similar to be honest what Floyd used to do. Floyd waited until Mosley was 50-year-old. He waited until De La Hoya was 50-year-old. He waited until all of them were 50-year-old. And then said, oh man, I told y'all I was the best. No, you told us that you wait till everyone old, pulling a Kawasaki. Do you know what I'm saying? Floyd and Kawasaki are in a league of their own. They love the old ones. Their favourite ones. Them old and washed ones. Yeah? Trust me, if you're old and useless, Floyd Mayweather and Kawasaki all over it. They love them ones. Their favourite ones. 100%. That's just what it is. Yeah? And that's what Tank will do. So I'm just praying for boxing's sake and for Tank's sake, he breaks the trend. Because if he don't, it will never change. No doubt.